can't hold on.
I can get it. I can almost reach it, Dad.
Indiana? Indiana? Let it go.
What's up guys, welcome to Superwise. I'm John and I just got out of seeing DC Studios' Supergirl. The obvious elephant in the room is the Rotten Tomatoes critic score. It debuted rotten, it was shortly fresh, then it went back to being rotten. It's fluctuating, but as of this recording, it is a 56, it's rotten. And so I walked into the movie very curious on how I was gonna feel, a little concerned, a tad concerned knowing that Anna Nogueira has never written a script for a movie in her life. But ultimately, my excitement never wavered. Superman is my favorite fictional character of all time, and I've been dying for the super fam to get the priority they deserve. We haven't had a Supergirl movie in God knows how many years, so this was exciting for a lot of reasons. Circling back and cutting right to the chase, I liked all three trailers. I thought they were very good, but not great. Those trailers did not wow me. Factoring all that in, it led me to believe that this would not be a game changer for DC Studios. It would not be better than James Gunn's Superman, but it would be a nice little fun addition to the DCU and serve as a worthy entry into the story of the DCU. And yeah, I was right on the money. It's a good comic book movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. It works as a standalone story, it fleshes out Kara as a character, it makes you care. At the same time, it expands the world building and it makes you ready for what's to come, like Man of Tomorrow or even a Lobo solo project. I structure these reviews very intentionally. I'll start off with like the director or the acting, but I'm starting with the story. I'm starting with Anna Nogueira's script because that is the biggest point of contention in the discussion. Like I said, she's never written a film before. This is her first movie, a damn near $200 million blockbuster. And not only that, James Gunn handed her multiple DC projects on a silver platter like Wonder Woman and Teen Titans, so the way he's been talking her up had me incredibly curious on how this first movie would turn out because that is an indication of things to come. And luckily, thank God, I think she's good. I think James has a tendency to go overboard and over-exaggerate. Like he said, this script was incredible and there are great elements to it, but overall, it's not a great script. It's a flawed script. She absolutely needs to work on key areas, but ultimately, it's a story that landed. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's familiar territory for sure. There are generic aspects for sure, but ultimately it worked. I was very concerned with that first act. I wasn't entirely vibing with it. It took a minute to get into, but once it picks up in that second act, it largely hit the areas I needed it to, and it went from a potential 6 or 7, I can't believe I'm saying that, to a 7.5 or an 8, which I'm currently at right now. I thought the character exploration for Kara was great. I mean, I love her. I think she's up there with like Yelena Belova. She's flawed, she's darker, but at the end of the day, she has a good heart, and the film does a very good job of explaining to you why she has this edge, why she found herself having a different philosophy than Clark, and why she still has it even after her redemption arc. I was already incredibly excited for Man of Tomorrow, but I love that you can tell what the dynamic is gonna be, knowing that Kara has a big role in that film. How tensions are gonna rise, the difference of philosophies and how to handle the situation. It's gonna put them at odds, and I love that. And the specific arc only works and is helped by Ruthie as a character, who's also great. We have seen it before, but it's effective in this film, and it solidifies a very sweet dynamic between Kara and Ruthie. The parallels, the similarities. But getting back to the overall script, the pacing was wonky. Krem, for instance, as the villain, fairly underwhelming. There were moments where I did like his performance, and there were other moments where it was giving Jared Leto Joker, it was giving Iron Man 2 Whiplash. It was just questionable choices and not helped by the look at all. I think the look is just, it's trash. It's not good. Anna is adapting the Woman of Tomorrow comic book, and yes, Krem is pretty underbaked in that too, but You know, as a film, you should try and actively improve things that weren't explored well or as much. That's where longer runtime comes into play. This one clocks in at an hour and 48, and you could have added maybe 10 more minutes and actively tried to do something a little more with Krem. While we're at it, you also could have done something a little more with Ruthie's family so that when they're killed, we feel a little more for them. Lobo isn't in the original graphic novel, so you are clearly open to changes, and you could have done a little more, but the story overall gets to the point, and it ultimately works. It's effective. That's what matters. And the last thing I'll say is in regards to the graphic novel, clear changes were made. This is not a one-to-one adaptation, and fans are gonna feel a certain way about it. I really like the comic book. Of course, there are moments and scenes and visuals I would have loved to see incorporated into the film, but there were no changes that I was actively disgusted by or was opposed to. The ending is a huge change in terms of characterization, but for me, it works because that will clearly play a role into Man of Tomorrow and how Superman and Supergirl handle the situation. It's going to be a clear clashing of heads, so I like where that's headed, and it's the beauty of a cinematic universe that you get to expand upon that idea. I could have explained in depth with spoilers, but there isn't a lot to spoil in this movie. Again, it works pretty standalone, so I'll keep it vague and you guys see for yourself, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Now that we're done with the screenwriting portion, let's talk about Craig Gillespie because he crushed it. It does not feel like a James Gunn movie. The action set pieces are really cool, really good. The biggest flaw with them is that on some of them, they would play like trashy pop music that isn't memorable at all. It's not like a memorable Gunn needle drop. Like you had Blondie, you had Jimmy Ruffin in the trailers and promos, and they don't use any of that. So it's kind of confusing, and what we got instead is
3 letters.
One word.
Ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
The Woman of Tomorrow visuals are gorgeous, they're stunning, they're some of the best we'll ever see in a comic book period. So the film doesn't really adapt any of that, but I will say that the film generally looks really good. The CGI is very solid, nothing really took me out. Would have been insane if we got some Project Hail Mary level visuals for this film, but what we got, I'm fairly satisfied. The set design, the costume design, the world building, like the alien designs, all of it, very good. They hit a lot of that from the trailers, so it was nice to see in the actual film that they embraced somewhat the space side of things. Again, we could have gotten more, but I'm not up in arms about what we got. So real quick, we know this film had previously 2 composers. First, it was Ramin Djawadi, who did Eternals and Iron Man, and he would have been really good. Then we got Junkie XL, which I was less high on. He uses AI in his scores, so glad he left. And ultimately, we got Claudia Sarn. Good work. Her main Supergirl suite, I really like it. Not much else that I can remember from her, not like David Fleming or John Murphy in Superman, but the moments that needed to be elevated by score were. Lastly, the portrayals. Millie Alcock is by far and away the best live-action Supergirl. She has layers, she has emotion, she carried the movie nicely, and I can't wait to see more of her. Eve Ridley is Ruthie from the comic book. She did a wonderful job. Jason Momoa, what more can we say? He's the definitive Lobo. He's an all-timer casting up there with David Corenswet or Nicholas Hoult or Rachel Brosnahan. He is chewing scenery. He's having a blast. Every time he was on screen, I smiled ear to ear. And you know Jason Momoa is gonna play Jason Momoa, but there were moments in this movie where he puts a little more effort into the dialect. He's low-key trying to do a little something different with Lobo. He loves this character. I love this character. Rated R solo project, David Leitch. Now, please. Then finally, David Corenswet as Superman. He does not overpower, he does not outshine, he's sprinkled in the film very nicely. But every time he popped up, you just felt the energy in the room change, and that's how you know that this man is a generational casting. We're ideally going to have him in this role for the next 10 years. We are just so lucky to have him, best Superman since Christopher Reeve, and there's no doubt that he is the RDJ or Chris Evans equivalent to the DCU. He just has that power. And his big brother dynamic with Kara is just delightful. They're so perfectly cast and they work so well off each other. But wrapping it up, we've stated the flaws. Overall, it's a good comic book movie that's getting way too much hate. This is good. It's flawed, but it's good. It's a nice little expansion to the DCU. It has heart, it has good action, it prepares you for Man of Tomorrow. It's a solid time. Period, end of story. That was my review. Tell me in the comments down below, what did you think of Supergirl? Do you think the hate is overblown? Do you think it's somewhat justified? Let me know. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That'll be all from me. Remember my catchphrase, guys. Stay super wise.